Welcome everybody to Rob's MetalWorks. We are here at the Guillotine tonight to support a very special band, the band that many of you people have been catching on to. The band Tetrarch is here, and I have with me the lady Diamond Rowe, lead guitarist, badass, here with me today. Diamond, welcome to our program. Great to have you.
Great to be here. Thank you.
Lots to talk about with Tetrarch. I mean, it's an exciting time. There's people out there who will be hearing the name for the first time tonight, so let's start there. Share a little bit about the beginnings of this band, because I think some people know that you're originally from Atlanta, but have kind of transplanted to LA and things have kind of started moving forward from there.
So basically I started this band with Josh. We met in middle school, which is crazy. Like we were a bunch of different names. Like people don't know this, Plan B. We had a bunch of crazy names that we just jammed like covers in the basement. So we pretty much started in middle school. But when we hit about 11th, 12th grade, that's when we were kind of like, I kind of like this. I want to be a musician when we get older. So we kind of started playing some shows out in Atlanta, just around the locals. So we played every weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, like all the time, everywhere. Wow. Started branching out to like Florida and stuff like that. And it just kind of we found the name Tetrarch in history class, and it just stuck. And it's just kind of been my life since then, and it has become something that we only dreamed of, and continues to grow. So.
I've been to Atlanta before, and it doesn't strike me as a metal town. Am I wrong?
We have a couple metal bands that kind of come out of Atlanta, like Mastodon, Attila, maybe, stuff like that. But it's more of a rap hip hop city, that country too. It's a huge country state, Georgia in general. Yep. When we started, it had a pretty thriving local scene as far as rock and metal is concerned, but I think now it's died down a little bit. But it's okay. It's all right. It was a good place for us to hone our skills, but it was time to shuffle out. So.
Was that? I mean, that was going to be my next question. Is that what prompted the kind of move to LA?
The move to LA, honestly. So a lot of people ask me that, and a lot of things we could have done living in Atlanta. I feel like a lot of it would have been the same. But it's great because LA's been a very convenient place for us to stay. When we get asked to do things, we got asked to do things with Red Bull, right down the street in Santa Monica, XM Radio, right down Seal Beach. So it's like when we pick up merch, right down the road. So everything's just right there at our disposal, managers, everything we need. And it's just, it's things that we couldn't have done conveniently if we were still in Atlanta. So I'd say that was the biggest change. Yeah.
You guys released a few kind of EPs to kind of get your feet wet with fans, and we're going to talk about the full length that came out in the fall of last year. But from what I know is that there's kind of been an evolution kind of musically from what you were doing with the EPs to now with the full length, which has really garnished a lot of attention. Kind of talk a little bit about what's transpired between the EPs and the full length. Obviously, there's been an evolution of the band.
Yeah, so when we started out, we A, sounded a lot like our influences, and B, we were all about kind of that the fast thrashy style of everything, which is still fun, and we still have that in some of our stuff. But we really, like I tell a lot of people, our biggest influences were always really big, metal bands, bands that crossed over, but were still heavy, like Slipknot and Korn, and Linkin Park, stuff like that. And so we kind of wanted to go more in that direction with this record, have some bigger choruses, but some heavier parts as well, catchy parts, stuff that kind of was nostalgic for us when we were listening to music in the 2000s, but in a more modern way. Yeah. And that was kind of the goal, and coming just from boxing ourselves into just fast, thrashy, we want to try new stuff, and it worked out really well, I think. So it kind of opens up what Tetrarch is for, music to come. So.
I also kind of heard that obviously people have kind of recognized you because you're a good guitar player. Still very young. Hopefully we're going to see greater and grander things from you as you mature. But still, even with the debut, you kind of held back a little bit, or pulled it back a little bit, maybe focused more on the songs rather than just on what you were doing guitar-wise.
Yeah, it was one of those things where we definitely I wanted to do leads that fit the song, and I tell a lot of people that. It wasn't one of those things where it was like there would be times where we would write a song a while back, and it was like we forgot a solo section, and we'd go back in there, and Josh would riff out, so we could throw a solo in there, which is really cool, and I do miss it. And on the next record I'll probably throw some longer ones in there, but we didn't want to do that this record. I wanted to have solos, I wanted to have leads, but I wanted them to be more tastefully thrown in there and serve the song more so than just like being a shredder everywhere just to be a shredder. Because my favorite guitar players serve the songs,
Right.
but you knew they were amazing guitar players, like Slash, and you knew they were amazing guitar players, but all within what the song needed. So that's kind of where I want to be too.
Okay, so let's talk now about the band's debut, and all you people out there who don't yet have it, be sure to look for it. The band is Tetrarch, and the full-length debut is called Freak. It is out, came out in September of last year. Be sure to look for it in all your music outlets. This is a great piece of work. I love it. Killer songs, great production. Let's talk about what's the reception been like to the new release now? It's been out a few months.
Yeah, it's been really good. Actually, we've gotten a lot more attention from it than we even hoped for. But obviously you always hope that it's going to do well, but it's been really good. We've gotten a lot of positive feedback, more positive than anything we've ever done.
Number 3, like on the metal charts.
Yeah, it did. And independently, we're independent too, so that's really good too. Just seeing all our hard work and everything pay off in big ways, it's been great. So we can't complain. We've been really happy with what it's done for us. So.
I think that you bring up a good point. I guess technically you're not a signed band to a particular label, and I see Tetrarch accomplishing as much or more than bands who are signed.
Yeah.
Is that ironic or what?
Crazy. Nah, it's a lot of work. Let me tell you, it's definitely not ironic. But we're glad that it's doing well. God is doing well.
So let's talk about these tracks. I mean, great tracks, all pretty heavy. To get to the very end, toward. Let's talk about these tracks. I mean, are these songs some of these songs from, or any of these songs from the EPs that you redid or remade, or are all these new tracks?
All these are pretty much new tracks. There might have been maybe a riff or two that we've had sitting around that we like that fit in one of them or something like that, but they all were pretty much new tracks. Me and Josh laugh about this all the time. Like a lot of bands, and we need to get better at this, don't get me wrong, but a lot of bands, like, they write and write and write constantly all the time, and we're always like very like one track minded. Like tour time we tour, like writing time we write. So it's like that's kind of what it was for this record. When we knew it was time to go back in and do a new record, we just focused all our energy on writing new songs. So they're all pretty much new riffs and new lyrics, new melodies, everything. So.
Also, I know that many fans have kind of come on to this record just because of what it's saying lyrically. I love the cover art. You have that kid there, an African-American kid with a star in his eye, and you look at this kid and it's like, he's not, your normal run-of-the-mill, middle school or high school kid. Talk a little bit about the title track, which obviously is your first single. Great track. I love that song. I love the video. Very headbanging, rocking tune. It just kind of flows really well. Lyrically, what are you saying with Freak?
Freak, I think Josh really wanted it to be. It's crazy because when he wrote Freak, it was the last song of the record that he came up with lyrics for, and it was like he had to come up with some lyrics. It was very last minute, and he was like, he woke me up at like 6 a.m, and he's like, he had been up all night. We were in the studio, he was like wiry eyed, and he's like, Diamond, Freak, and I was like, what? And he's like, Freak. And I was like, literally, that's exactly how it happened. I was like, what the hell is he talking about? So anyways, pretty much the song's about everyone embracing the weirdness about them. Anything weird about you, like, instead of trying to hide it all the time, let it show. That's what makes you you. And essentially, it's like an anthem to being different. And that's they say, he says, let your psycho loose. And that's essentially what he's talking about.
I think a lot of people could say that about you.
I'm pretty weird in more ways.
Well, you're very unique.
Yeah, that's true. And I always kind of have been. I tell everyone, like, when I found metal when I was 12 and 13 years old, it just was a cherry on top to I was into motocross and like strange things. People were like, who are you?
Metal?
But so yeah, it's actually a good anthem for me, to be honest.
I would have hung out with you.
Good.
You're cool.
I had a lot of friends, I hung out with a lot of different groups of people, so it's good.
I don't think anyone can take away from just how good the fucking record sounds. I mean, you put it on the stereo, it sounds great. Dave Otero produced this release. Talk about what it was like working with him, and kind of really, he works with a lot of signed bands, Elysian and Cattle Decapitation, and So what was it like kind of getting him to come on board? How exciting was that?
It was cool, and with the EP before, we were at Audio Hammer, which has had a lot of bands like Trivium and DevilDriver and all of that.
Did y'all work with Sukoff or Mark Lewis out there?
We worked with Sukoff and ALOT when he was over there, and it's very different. Dave was cool because it was a very comfortable environment. Like, he was a super laid back, super chill guy. He wasn't too into trying to change, unless something just sucked. Like, he wasn't too into trying to mold us into what he thought it should sound like or anything like that, but he really helped us enhance what we wanted to do. And that's what I liked most about him. For me, recording is a very high stress time, so it's good to have a comfortable environment to get it done.
So it's out, and you guys are on the road supporting it. Just rightfully so.
Yeah.
Rightfully so. I know in the fall you did a tour opening up for DevilDriver. Obviously, that must have been a pretty good run. Big crowds, because DevilDriver is a pretty successful band. What was that run like for you guys? What did you learn on the road in having that experience opening up for them?
It was definitely cool. It was a lot different than if we were to do a headlining tour or something like that. It's very structured, which was cool because we knew exactly what we were going to do every single day, what time we had to do it, and you really get into a machine, and so that was really cool. And just, no matter where you are in the level of musicianship, it's really cool to learn from, Mike and Neil and DevilDriver, who are great guitar players,
right.
And everyone's learning from each other. There might be something I did that one of them was like, oh, that's really cool, or vice versa. So it's just cool to be around different musicians and just learn new things. That was probably my favorite thing.
You guys are now doing a short headline run, which is exciting because I think people will see a longer set from you guys. So what can fans expect who are going to hit this tour and kind of see you guys headline your shows?
Definitely trying out. Most of the songs are from the new record, right. And usually we do a lot of things that are a lot of sets that are just straight thrashed through all the way. But this set we threw in some of the more grooving songs. We got Freak and stuff like that. So it's been a little bit of a challenge for us, getting it together, because it's a little different from what we usually do. Yeah. But we've also mixed in some of the old too. So it's just a little more varied than usual.
So for some of you people who are going to watch this interview shortly, be sure to catch the band live. They're coming through your town. Look for the tour dates. They're on tour with Somewhere to Call Home, right? From upstate New York. Cool band as well. And I'm sure you'll see a lot of locals. So be sure to catch the band. Now, what lies ahead after this tour for 2018? What do you want to accomplish?
Well, so right now we have a lot of radio stuff going on. Like I mentioned before, we want to be heavy. We want to be a metal band, but we want to cross over too.
Sure.
And so we have a really good team put together right now. We're doing a lot of station stops.
Is that acoustic stuff?
Yeah. So actually, our first one's tomorrow. So after I leave this, I gotta go try to prepare for that. But got some acoustic and some interviews and some XM radio stuff. So a lot of attention is being focused on that right now. Just getting Freak, especially as a single we're pushing. Out to a lot of different outlets, a lot of different cities. So that's what we're focused on now. Obviously, we'll throw in some more touring, obviously. But yeah.
How much more difficult is it to do kind of acoustic playing?
It's not so much difficult. It's just arranging the songs that are usually heavy and meant for electric guitars and stuff to being acoustic. That's the hardest part. But actually playing it, and that's not so much as hard. It's just putting together okay, how do we play Freak acoustically? Great. So that's the hardest part. That's the hardest part.
I hope you guys will somehow, if you can, to record some of those acoustic things.
Yeah, our buddy,
that'd be cool.
Our buddy Patrick's on the road with us right now doing sound and everything. I think he might record some of the stops this tour. Yeah.
Yeah. So also, you guys have been doing this kind of promo. Obviously, video promo is very important. You guys have done some videos. You did one for the title track. You did one for Oddity. I love the videos. You guys have kind of maintained this performance kind of video thing, and I think that's what people want to see. People want to see y'all rock out. Is the video medium still important to you? Obviously, you're a younger person, and maybe you weren't back in the heyday of MTV when videos were on MTV like I was. But still, now the younger generation can enjoy those mediums through the advent of YouTube and other social media.
honestly, I may have a different opinion than a lot of people. I think they're super important. Like for me, there's been several times when I see a music video of a song, and I like the song so much better after I have a visual put to it than I do when I just heard it, you know, on Spotify. So I take that view for our own songs and think like if people can put like a visual, like we really put a lot of pride in our live performance, and that's like I think one of our strongest things. So it's like if we can put a performance to the song and people can see that, I think that makes it a lot cooler. As much as some people might say like, no, it is 100% the song, it is, but having a visual too is really important, I think.
Is it do you enjoy doing them? I mean, you like videos, but do you enjoy doing them?
They're a lot of fun. They're a lot of work, and it's tiring because you're there all day just like take after take after take, like giving everything you got, but the finished product's always worth it.
Yeah, very cool. I love how you rock it on the videos, man. Be sure to look out for them, all you people out there. And Diamond, as we get near the end of this interview, I want to talk a little bit about you. I think much has been said, you know, and I was kind of hesitant at first to ask this question. Because I don't really think, you know, as a long-term music fan that it's relevant. But we live in a very dynamic era now in heavy music. And people have said, oh, you know, Diamond Rowe, the first African-American heavy metal female guitarist who's getting all this recognition and stuff. How do you feel about that? Does it bother you that they say, oh, you know, I'm getting all this recognition because I'm African-American? Or how do you feel about all that stuff?
Doesn't bother me at all. It doesn't bother.
Bring it on.
Yeah, bring it on. It doesn't bother me. Like I said, the only way it would bother me is if people looked at it like it was some sort of gimmick or something like that. But I have faith that like I can back it up on stage and like I can back it up. So I'm okay. Now I don't want everything to just be about Tetrarch because, you know, Diamond's a black one. So, but I think there's been a pretty good medium with it, and it hasn't fully been that, and I'm okay with that. So I'm okay with it. You know, getting some attention for us, like it's cool. And I grew up when we started the band. When people would tell me like, "Oh, that's a little different," I'd be like, whatever. You know, like that's not even something I thought about. Like I didn't care. Just loved guitar, and like I didn't even have any female guitar player influences. I liked all dudes. Like I just liked, you know, guitar and metal guitar. And but you know, the older I got, the more people kept saying like, "No, this is cool. I don't think this is happening very much." And I started thinking about it. I was like, maybe that is pretty cool. You know, so. I'm okay with it. I think it's done a lot for us that maybe wouldn't have happened if it wasn't there, and like I'm thankful for it. So
that is exactly what I told my camera guy before we got out of this truck. I said, you know, some people have been recognizing Diamond for this, but I said it wouldn't mean shit if the songs weren't good.
Right. Exactly. Like, and I know a lot of girls who are women who are, you know, feel like it hasn't done them, like it feels like it's hindered them, I guess. But I feel like if you have the right combo, it's gonna help. It hasn't hurt us at all. So.
But undeniably, you have set a precedent to some extent.
That's what they say.
I don't know any.
That's what they say.
Other female African American heavy metal guitar players, except you. I think you're the first one I've interviewed in my 20+ year career.
I'm glad to be the first. Thank you.
That's why I wanted you. All right, Diamond, great interview. Thank you for giving us so much of your time and your content here. Any last words you want to share with your fans, people out there who will catch this tour, anybody who's first learning about Tetrarch?
Just to keep an eye out. We got a lot of stuff going on, a lot of stuff in the works. It's going to be a crazy year. Last 6 months have been really crazy for us, and I feel like it's just a build up to like what we have coming up soon. So just don't sleep. Like I tell everybody, just don't sleep. So
thank you so much. Thank you so much. You've been awesome. You've been awesome. Remember, everyone out there, how can you forget? The band is Tetrarch. Their brand new record is out right now. It's called Freak. Be sure to jam it anywhere online. You saw the lady, Diamond Rowe, right here on Rob's MetalWorks.